All right, and welcome back, class. Yesterday, I apologize. I was really under the weather. I had the flu, and even though I had the flu shot, I took the flu shot, it still affected me, and I was really in bad shape. But I'm back. I'm not as better than I was, but I'm getting closer to that. All right, I hope you're really enjoying this course and learning, about programming and I hope you watch those videos that I show, and I'm hoping that you are seeing that programming can really impact every aspect of society, and it's not really a boring career. You find programs in cars and TVs and computers, of course, and medical devices. They're all over the world in every aspect of our life. And if you're really good at programming, you can make a very good living. So today, what we're going to do is talk about methods. And methods are they're a set of a code which is referred to by a name and can be invoked or called at any point in the program simply by utilizing the method's name, calling the method's name, and just typing it. And I'll show you an example of that in just a few moments. So think of a method as a subprogram that acts on data and often returns a value. Each method has its own name. So an example of that, earlier we talked about that every single Java program has a main method. Okay, so this is an example of a method. So we have experience of that. But what we're going to do now, we're going to introduce some methods, and you're going to create your own methods in the Hello World program. We just had all of the code procedural. It was, from top down. There was no, way to call or separate the different types of functions, but we're going to do it here. So, for example, we're going to create two methods, one called getName, and we may create more than that, and another one called printName. Okay, and so see here in the main method, I just simply place the name of the method I want to call or invoke. And what happens is the program jumps from here to here. It does whatever is inside the method, the statements there, and then it jumps back up here. And then the same thing here. Then once it comes back here, it goes to print name. It goes to the print name method, whatever is inside the print name method, and it returns back here, and then the program will end. So let's see how that works later on. Oh, and I need to also introduce a concept called global variable. So there are two types of variables. One is called a local variable, and we have used that. And then now you're going to introduce the global variable. The main difference is global variables can be seen outside of the method. Okay, a local variable is always defined inside of a method, and you can't access that variable outside of that method. And I will show it to you in a little bit so it becomes a lot more clear. Okay, so global variables can be seen by every method. Local variables can only be seen by that method that it was defined in or declared in. Okay, so an example of creating global methods here, you create them outside of any method. Here, normally we created our variables inside the main method. Here, we create them outside, and we use these two words here, public static, and that creates a global variable. You do the data type and then the variable name there. Okay, and so that's how that will work. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on introducing you to methods and global variables. Okay, here we are. We are at our editor. Just going to make some adjustments here. All right, so when we first started doing this, let me fix this. Okay. All right, here we are. We are inside of our editor, our web editor here, IDE editor. And when we first started doing this, we were using that program called Hello World when we asked the person to input their name. But what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and change it up. I'm going to introduce some methods. So the first thing we want to do here is create our method, okay? And we're calling this one get name. Okay, then we're going to call the other one print name. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and make our global variables. Remember, we do that outside of any method. Public static. And we're going to have a variable type string, first name, and then we'll have last name. Okay. So we want to go ahead and I'm going to rem this out. All right. Then what we want to do, or comment it out, what we want to do is create the invocation of the methods here. And get name and then print name. So this is how we actually access these methods to run them. So you see here I have get name. So when the computer runs the program, it's going to jump to the main method. It's going to come across get name first. It's going to jump from here to here, program execution. It will complete whatever is inside of here, jump back to here, then go to the next command. It's going to see print name. It's going to go looking for the variable. I'm going to start with the method print name. It's going to do whatever inside of there, and then jump back. Okay, so let's do the get name, and we need to have a scanner for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put scanner, get data, equals new scanner system dot in. Okay, and so we have declared and created our scanner object. I'm going to prompt the user to input his or her first name, print ln. What is your first name? Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do first name is equal to get data dot next. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and ask the user for his or her last name. And that should be a question mark. Let's fix that. Oh, I didn't fix it. Let's make sure I do it correctly. I need to, there we go. Put our parentheses there. Okay. I didn't terminate these. If we tried to run it, we would get an error. So let me terminate these properly. All right, last name. Get data dot next. Okay. And then here we're going to go ahead and just print out hello plus first name. Concatenation, put a space there. Okay, then last name. And that will do it for us. Okay, so let's look at the program. Let's go over it a little bit. Okay, so here we are declaring global variables here. Okay, and here's we're calling those methods. We're invoking those methods. Invoke methods. Okay, and then here we have this method gets names, gets first and last name, And then this method here prints out for full name. Okay, and so let's go ahead and execute this, compile it, and run it and see what happens. Okay, I have three errors here. Let me make sure that I go back here and make sure I've done everything I needed to do. So we have a main method here. And what did I forget to do? Forgot to do something. So it said here, I forgot to put the quotation mark. And is it telling me what line that's on? Line 20? Yep, line 20. Okay. And I hope that did it. Oh, I think I have another. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to import the, this is very important, the Java class there. Import Java dot util dot star. Why didn't you guys tell me that? All right. I know somebody caught it. Okay, here we go. Let's compile it and see what happens there. Okay, we still have another. Um, oh, you know what? I failed to capitalize the data type string. Okay, that needs to be capitalized. Okay. All right, looks like we have no errors. Let's go ahead and run the program. All right, what is your first name? Robert. What is your last name? And there it is. Hello, Robert Henley. So I hope you notice what happened. Prior to this, we would put everything inside the main method. So all of this stuff here would be inside the main method. Here we created methods for each one of the things we wanted to do. So this is its own little sub program. This is another sub program. And so this allows me to write more efficient programs. I can departmentalize data. So if I wanted to use this code later on, if I didn't use methods, I would have to actually type this over several times. This way, all I have to do is just call the method, and it does it, which is pretty cool. Now, we were talking about global and local variables. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the difference there and why we need to use global variables. So instead of declaring this as a global variable, let me just go ahead and comment that out. Here I'm going to go ahead and create a variable of type string for first name. And this is what you're used to doing. Okay, and last name. So let's create those here. All right, so now when I go ahead and run it, you would think because I defined it that this method would have access to it. Okay, here first name, last name. So let's go ahead and compile it. Okay, and there we are. We have some errors there. And the reason why we're having this is because if you notice that this is a method, the main method. Okay, I declared the variables inside of this method. All right. Okay, so in our discussion about global and local variables, you see here I created a local variable. Let me slide it up so you can see it. Right here, and we've done this before. However, this is only visible inside this method. Here I'm trying to access that variable, first name and last name, and it cannot see anything outside of its own method. And so that's why we actually are using the global methods here, I'm sorry, global variables, so that I can have access to it from any method there. So I hope that is clear to you. I hope that makes sense. And that allows me to share data all over the place with different methods. And so this is a way of using or accessing data from other methods. There's another way we're going to talk about a little later on where we're passing arguments and values between methods, but this is one way to do it. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to Go ahead and uncomment that, compile it. There it is, no error there. Go ahead and run it. Robert, and then Henley, and there it is. Okay, so I hope that's been pretty interesting to you. As you see, we're starting to pick it up, and we're going to be adding a lot more complicated codes or statements to our programming. But I hope you are really enjoying this. And again, I'm always open to your feedback about what you think about the course and how I can make it much more interesting for you. Have a great day and work hard, guys. Bye.